Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. So today I'm going to read a quick article to try to, I don't know, some people don't exactly know where money comes from. And when I talk about money, I mean fiat currency, okay? How it actually comes into existence, all right? The reason I'm on this page right here is because it's something I have to go over with you guys real quick. It has to do with the giveaway, all right? That we did this past Sunday, so yesterday really, or the day before yesterday when you guys see this video. All right, but first let me go ahead and do a quick shout out for Rosalind, Joanna, and Steve. All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for sending me over a coffee or a couple. I think some of you sent. So thank you very much. I truly do appreciate it. More importantly, I want to let you guys know that I went to the GoFundMe page for Alex's family, and I recognized a lot of Alaska Prepper community members' names in there. All right. And I just wanted to go ahead and report to you guys that after tallying up the amounts next to the names that I recognized, all right, and not counting those that maybe had stayed anonymous, because I know that when I donated in there, it was anonymous. I didn't know how to enter my information, whatever. But anyways, not counting those of you that may have stayed anonymous, ladies and gentlemen, the AP community donated in excess of $1,000 to Alex's family. So thank you very much. There's nothing else that I can say but thank you. All right. This is an incredible community, so thank you very much. It's really a blessing is what it is. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get down to this giveaway that we did on Sunday. So I went ahead and shipped out or ordered everything that I had received an email for. A couple of people sent me an email without addresses. I guess they might have been a little excited. And there was one email that I sent out where the address needed, I guess, correction. I didn't want to order it. I think I know what was wrong with it, but I didn't want to order it until I knew for sure. Okay, so please check your emails, and if you haven't and I call out your name, please email me so that I can ship out your item to you. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I want to get this stuff to you guys as soon as possible. I want you to get it so that you can enjoy it and you can use it. Okay, so the first person that I want to go ahead and alert is Robert Bird. Okay, Robert Bird, and I believe that Nanette, you are the one that's behind that account. So please go ahead and send me an email with your information, and all of the emails that I get tonight, the orders will be placed early tomorrow morning. Okay, so far everything that I've ordered is expected to be delivered no later, I think, than this Wednesday. All right, so it's pretty quick shipping. Okay, so the second one is Old Man. Hey, Old Man, I know you sent me your information. However, I do believe that there was a problem with your zip code. Okay, so take a look at your zip code. I think you were off by one number, but I want to make sure that I get it from you and not from the computer. Okay, Jacqueline Alvarez, Rebecca Vincent, Dragonfly Neb, Angel Eyes, Melody Tenish or Tenish, Elfina 01, Randall Minor. All right, those are all of you that received a pressure cooker. Okay, and then for the cast irons, we still have Glory 1958, Miss Southern Michigan, the Margot family, and Bastet. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if I called out your name or your handle, please email me your information. If you've already emailed, I'll have it in my email and I'll be able to ship you that out. Okay, I haven't checked my email yet. I usually don't check it, but maybe once a week. But in this case, I'm checking it every day until I have all of these orders placed and shipped out. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So again, congratulations to all of the winners, or if you want to call it beneficiaries, all right, of those items that were given away. So please just get a hold of me so I can get your stuff to you ASAP. All right, because like I said, I want you guys to have it so that you can enjoy it and use it. All right, so let's go ahead and get this little article here out of the way. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good article, I think, because shows people how wrong it is to print money out of thin air, which is also considered quantitative easing. All right. So if you ever hear the words QE, it just means that money is being created in a manner in which capital was never invested to create any money. So, for example, if I build someone a house and they pay me $100,000 to build them a house, my time, the labor that I put into it, all right, my training, the amount of money that I put into my training to become efficient at building something, or proficient really, proficient and efficient, all right, and the cost of the materials, all right, that's capital, all right. So building that house is a product of an investment of capital, all right. And then the money that I earned from building that house was not money that was really created, but money that I earned because I actually did something for it. When quantitative easing occurs, it's the exact opposite. It's money that's being created that was never earned. That capital was never invested into creating that wealth. Okay, so let me go ahead and read this because I think this explains it really well. All right, so the title is Counterfeiting Money is a Crime, Whether Done by the Fed or a Private Individual. A few years ago, shortly after the 2008 subprime lending disaster, the Fed sent a public relations team around the country to conduct supposedly educational sessions about how the Fed works and the wonderful things it does. The public was invited, and there was a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. One such session was held in Des Moines, Iowa. At the time, I was teaching a course in Austrian economics at the University of Iowa. So I lusted and prospected of hearing complete nonsense and having a shot at asking a question. I was not disappointed. The educational part of the session lasted about an hour, and it became clear to me that the panel of four knew almost nothing about monetary theory. They may even have been hired especially for this grand tour because all were relatively young, well-scrubbed, and very personable. Let's face it, not your typical Fed monetary policy works or bank examiners. The panelists discuss only one of the Fed's two remits. Its remit to promote the economic advancement of the nation. Its other remit is to safeguard the monetary system. However, the panelists did not touch upon the Fed's control of interest rates and ensuring that money continued to flow to housing and other high-profile areas of the economy. Finally, at the end of the presentation, those with questions were asked to form a queue and advance one at a time to a microphone. I was the last in line of about a dozen. Here's my recollection of what followed. So this is this person talking to one of the panelists that the Federal Reserve sent out around the country to do kind of like a town hall meeting, I guess you could say, right? And this is him. Me. You say that the Fed have the power to increase the monetary supply. Is that right? And the Fed representative says yes. Then he asks, and you have indeed increased the money supply. Is that right? And the Fed says yes. And then he asks, and the money that you create was generated out of thin air. It wasn't there before, but it's there now. Is that right? And the Fed representative, and he says here, getting nervous, says yes. And then he asks, and you say that creating this money out of thin air is beneficial to the economy. Is that right? And then the Fed, and it says, now nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof, says yes. And then he asks, then why do you prosecute counterfeiters? The audience, after a few seconds delay, yeah, why do you prosecute counterfeiters? Then the Fed said, this meeting is closed. So pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, what the Federal Reserve does is they do the exact same thing that counterfeiters do. The only thing is that they do not act by the rule of law. All right, they can break the law. For a lot of people that don't know this, the Federal Reserve has its own police force that has the authority to arrest people. Right? This is a police force that was never elected, that was never put in place by someone you elected. They have their own police force. All right. They pretty much have no rules. They don't have to follow any of our rules or laws because they are their own entity. All right. So carrying on, my point is that there is no difference in the economic consequences to society between the Fed creating money out of thin air and a counterfeiter doing the same thing. The difference is solely legal and one of scale. Private counterfeiters are punished, and rightly so, whereas the Fed is lauded for this action. Counterfeiters are punished because printing money is the same thing as stealing. A counterfeiter does not print money only to stuff it under his mattress in order to feel wealthy. He knows that he needs to pass his fake money on to someone else in exchange for some valuable good or service. In this recent Mises Wire article, Frank Shostak refers to such action as getting something for nothing. Richard Cantillon observed that the first receivers of the new money benefit at the expense of all subsequent receivers. The Cantillon effect. In a recent Mises Wire article, Carmen Elena Derobat explained that the Cantillon effect can extend internationally. Therefore, nations accepting dollars for payments in the later stages of fiat monetary expansion suffer a transfer of wealth to the early receivers of the new dollars, mostly the banks and their customers in the U.S. So that's the article, ladies and gentlemen. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you understand what this gentleman here is trying to explain. He's trying to explain that when money is created out of thin air, the value that the money represents is only good for the person who spends it first. Okay? Once that money is distributed throughout the economy, all the other dollars that are floating around the economy lose value because there is now more paper chasing the same amount of goods. Okay? So if you would imagine someone selling 5 apples, all right, and the 10 people, let's say, that look at those apples, they all have $1. All right, this guy can put his apples for sale for 50 cents, right? Because he's like, well, 50 cents sounds pretty fair, and he may sell his 5 apples for 50 cents. All right, but if everyone that came in there had $1,000, one person might go in there and say, hey, give me all your apples right away. And the guy gets his, whatever he's charging for the apple. He's like, wow, I don't have any more apples to sell. I think maybe next time I'll increase the price. Next time that he comes over with 5 apples, he may be charging $2 for them. All right? Because in economics, you charge as much for something as the market can handle. So the more money floating around in the system, the more money that there is chasing around the same amount of goods. All right, I hope I explained that kind of good. This is kind of a layman, my layman way of explaining it, but hopefully you guys understand that quantitative easing, whenever you hear that word, it's not a good thing. All right, that's one of the reasons why the stock market is as high as it is. It's not because those companies are actually worth that much. All right, a lot of those companies haven't even made a profit in years, but their stocks keep going up. And of course, one of the reasons is stock buybacks. But then again, another one of the reasons is because there's more money in the system, all right, chasing around the same amount of goods. All right, so it makes the price of things go up. And some people may say, well, the prices at the store haven't really gone up that much, right? Because since 2008, there's been about $14 trillion pumped into the system. All right, and people may say, well, the price of things haven't really gone up that much. Well, go take a look at the stock market back in 2008 and take a look at it right now. It's more than double. what it was then. All right, so there is a lot of inflation, just not all in all the places that you're used to. All right, yes, there is inflation in goods and food, but if you look at the stock market, there's a lot of inflation in the stock market. Okay, so I just wanted you guys to understand what quantitative easing is and how immoral and unlawful, all right, it is for banks, including the Federal Reserve, to create money out of thin air. All right, and the reason I said unlawful is because there is a difference between something being legal and something being unlawful. All right, when something is legal, it's because some bureaucrat said, yep, this is legal, and he put his signature on something and say, yeah, this is now legal. It's pretty much that bureaucrat saying, okay, if you do this, you won't get arrested for it. It doesn't mean that it's lawful, right? It doesn't mean that it's lawful. And this is a perfect example. It is not legal for a private citizen to counterfeit money, but it is legal for the Federal Reserve and the banks to counterfeit money, right? But neither are lawful. Okay, and I just wanted to show you this right now. And before I even show you what I'm going to show you next, understand that this is not a political statement. All right, so please don't make this into a political thing. All right, because it is not. All right. Okay, and here it says, before departing for a trip to the southern border, President Donald Trump on Friday called for the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates and switch from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing. Trump has previously criticized the Fed's winding down of its balance sheet, though it may be his first call for the central bank to actually start buying bonds. Despite that, we're doing very well, he said, after the Labor Department reported 196,000 new jobs created in March. And ladies and gentlemen, if you look this up, in March, there were 196,000 new jobs created, but nobody reported that there was about 300 and something thousand people added to the, what do you call it? To the people that are not participating in the labor force. All right. So yeah, we created 196,000 new jobs in March, but more than 300,000 people were added to the people that are not in the labor force. All right, so that's really a net loss of 100 and some thousand jobs. All right, so nobody tells you that, but they just give you a partial truth, which this is very true. We created 196,000 new jobs, but the labor force, the people not participating in the labor force, increased by 300 and something thousand. All right, so okay, so he added he does not see Vice President Joe Biden as a threat to, okay, who cares about that? But I just wanted to show you that, ladies and gentlemen, that it doesn't matter what president it is. Any president is going to want cheap money. Why? Because they can spend more, all right, without increasing taxes, right? Which is looked as a great thing, but really they are increasing taxes by doing quantitative easing. Why? Because the dollars in your pocket is going to buy you less. So when it takes you more money to buy the same product, that is a tax. It is a hidden tax called inflation, which is the inflation of the monetary supply, which is created by quantitative easing. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got. I hope you got something out of this. Please leave any comments that you may have on this. I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys a real simple example of how it is that quantitative easing is not a good thing, okay? And how it is that it doesn't matter what president is in office. It doesn't matter if it's the left, if it's the right, if somebody gets in there from the center. It does not matter, because a politician's job, in my opinion, is to get reelected. It doesn't matter what politician it is. A politician's job is to be reelected. And look at all these politicians that have been in office for 30 plus years, all right? What have they done to make anything better? I don't know. In my opinion, not very much. But they have definitely made their lives better. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. Hopefully, this wasn't that long of a video. I'm not sure how long I carried on for. All right. So, having said that, thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for all of your support. Thank you very much to all of you that donated to Alex's family's GoFundMe. Thank you very much. You guys don't know how much I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. And hey, listen, if you guys are new to this channel and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because just go and take a look at a few of my old videos and or older videos, and you'll see that we have a great community. Take a look at the comments section and you'll see that we have a great community, and we'd like to have you. All right. And we definitely want people in here that are wanting to learn how to prep, that are wanting to get some bits of information like this every once in a while, but mostly that are wanting to learn how to prep. Okay. Because this, ladies and gentlemen, when I do these videos here, this is prepping. Okay. Because if you don't inform yourself of how, you know, the government or any kind of a bureaucratic office is taking things away from you without you knowing, then you don't know how to prepare. Okay, that's why I always said buy food now, because it's not going to be cheaper next year. It's going to be more expensive next year. And this is just one of the reasons why it's going to be more expensive next year. All right, it's because the government needs to create more money. They need to spend more every year. If not, the whole system will collapse. We are in a credit-based monetary system, right? Which means that we have to borrow more and more every year in order for the economy to stay afloat. If not, it will collapse. And the last few months has been proof, all right? And this is proof here too, that the president is asking for more QE because they need to spend more. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, protect yourselves. All right. Prep. Make sure that you're prepping. That's what this channel is mainly about. All right. For you new subscribers, or for those of you that are here for the first time, we want to make sure that you are going to protect yourself and hedge yourself against the rise of inflation and other things that would affect the way in which we can get the things that we need on a daily basis, all right, in order to maintain some kind of a standard of living that is close to what we have now, all right? There you see, ladies and gentlemen, I told you that I can just start and not stop. All right, so again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys being here today. Having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.